I want to know you more. Just feel that just feel when I say that though,
trying to
Pearl.
think of something.
But don't think.
Okay.
Just see what happens when I say I want to know you more. And what happens?
I was trying to think of something to say.
Don't think. Can you get out of your mind for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just feel.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that I want to know you more, just notice what happens.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry, I don't know. So I think it's really wrong to deprive children of that. And I think it's wrong to deprive men of being fathers to their kids.
Why are you so passionate about this? Because we were talking about it before we went live, and you have all of this fire around it, which is great. I love it. And I agree with most of what you say. I mean, and all of what you say essentially in principle. And I'm glad that you're taking up the cause, but do you know why you're so passionate about this?
I think it just changed me when I interviewed men who were like a mile from their kids and hadn't seen them in 3 years. Like I had to stop doing so many interviews of divorced men because it would seriously depress me. It was so sad. Like it would be like fathers that, and it's not the players. It's not like the deadbeat dads that they paint like fathers that are not in their kids' lives. The most common trope I got was a guy that wanted to be a traditional father. He wanted to provide. He found a chick. He liked the chick. He married the chick. He had a normal job. And then, she puts an abuse claim out. Now, it's never followed up by the police. A lot of times during COVID, it would get pushed off the what do you call it? Like the trial for it. And so by the time he got to court, she had the primary care of the children, and that was what they based custody off of.
Right.
So it's like you meet these dads who it's like they don't care about the money. They just want to see their kids.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 years, 3 years since they've seen their kids, or they get them every other week. Like one guy that we didn't actually release this because his case was like that. He ended up wanting to not, his daughter was in the house with a pedophile. He couldn't do anything.
His daughter was in the house with a pedophile? The new boyfriend was a pedophile and he couldn't do anything about it?
Couldn't do anything about it.
Because the court systems favor women because they believe that children are better off with their mothers generally. Although the data doesn't suggest that.
Not at all. The women are the most likely ones to abuse children.
Right. But I mean, I've heard you say this before, and I've heard the pushback is, well, they're around the children
but if
more.
That was the I looked into that, and if that were the case, if it was based on the time that the mother spent with the kids, women are spending less time with children, but abuse is going up. So that doesn't make sense.
Right.
But that's what I mean.
But either way, women are hitting and abusing their children. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about it.
And if the man, because what they'll do is this is what I mean when they, like, the academics find the craziest ways to like move stats. If you look at, because they'll say, oh, well, it's close, men and women. Well, who are the men abusing the kids? The freaking stepdads. So if the dad abuses the kid, it's most likely a stepfather. Yeah. Yep.
No, I've heard that too. It's so disturbing. I had a stepdad. He wasn't abusive, but he did when my mom left him.
Yeah.
And he was he was in the picture. He took over. And when my mom left him, he completely abandoned me. And when I went through all my therapy, that was actually the deepest wounding, that a man had just completely betrayed me. So, yeah. Anyway, stepdads. The abuse is coming from the stepdads.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, you do these interviews, and it's like you see a guy in front of you, and all he wants is to see his kids. Some of them are homeless. Some of them are ex-veterans. And some of them, in the next year, if they committed suicide, I wouldn't be surprised. And a lot of them do. And I just think it's so wrong.
But your heart opens up to these men. Like, you care about it because there's a lot of causes that you could care about. There's a lot of injustice in the world. Why this one? Do you know?
I don't know. I do love my dad a lot. I always talk about him, but I don't even think that's it. Because, my parents are still together, but
What's their relationship like?
they're still married. They've been
Are they
like,
happy?
yeah, I think so.
You think so? What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Well, I mean, like they have problems like any married couple, but I mean, they built like a business together, so they would kind of be everything that like the trads would, declare. But I
What's their dynamic?
don't.
Who has the power?
I think it depends on the day, to be honest.
Well,
But
that's a good
yeah.
answer. It's equal.
No, I wouldn't say it's equal.
Oh, really?
But
Who's got the power?
I don't know. I don't think they'd really want me like talking about their marriage.
Well, but we're talking about you.
Yeah. Well,
Your perception.
yeah, but I don't know. I think it depends on the day. Like that's what I would say.
Okay. What's your mother like?
She's like hardworking. So she's very organized, hardworking chick.
Are you close?
Mm, not super close with my mom, but it's not like we like hate each other. It's just not like overly close, I guess.
How is that? You're not close with your mother.
It's all right,
It's all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
Would you prefer to be closer to your mother in a perfect world?
Maybe. Like if I'm moving home this year, so part of it's just been like me being in England, So I'm not as close with like my family because it's like I'm across the ocean.
Yeah, of course.
So
Did something happen between you and your mother? I mean, I understand you want to protect your mother and your family, and I totally respect that. And I'm just curious about any way that I want to understand your psychology, right? I want to understand what happened to you, and I want to do it honestly, Pearl, in a good way. Like I'm not here to like expose you or I just want to understand you, and I also think that would be an interesting conversation. And I think that you're such a huge public figure now. Like people are so curious about you, and like you get analyzed all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are speculating. I actually haven't speculated. I haven't thought about it because I don't know. I just wanted to see what happened when we're across from each other and what I noticed or what I felt. How does that land when I say that? How does that feel?
It's fine. All right.
All right. You're not close with your mother. Is there a reason?
She's just very like type A, I guess. So she's very organized, and I'm very like da 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 da. So I just think sometimes like those two personalities kind of like clash.
Did you feel disapproval from her because of the way you were?
Well, I mean, she was annoyed.
She was annoyed by you?
Yeah, well, because I was messy, But no, not like super crazy,
Yeah.
But yeah.
You didn't. Something got missed.
Yeah, I just think like, I don't know. Have you ever had like a messy person live in with like a super org? It just doesn't. Just there's clashing.
Yeah.
So. Mom, I forgot my bag at home.
And that would annoy her?
Yeah, it would.
And what would she say? Would she scold you?
Yeah, but then she'd get it. Or send the nanny or whoever.
Dude, I can just feel like you must have been a precocious child.
What do you mean, a precocious?
Like, well, you're smart, sassy, kind of. All children are manipulative.
Okay.
They want to get what they want, and they have all kinds of tactics to do that. And I have a feeling that you were probably really good at it. How could you not be? You're really good at arguing.
I mean, I was just really into sports. Like that's when I think of my childhood, I just think of sports.
But what do you think about what I just said?
Like I was manipulating them.
Not all children manipulate to get what they want. They don't have any other tactic. What did you want but you didn't get as a child, do you think?
I don't know, because my parents were so supportive in like what I wanted to do. So like if I wanted to play drums, they bought me a drum set.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom and dad, that didn't pan out. I don't play drums. But yeah, I mean, I would like trying to think, what did I get that I didn't?
What did you need from them?
I mean, they traveled a lot. So, and I was one of like 10 siblings. So maybe like sometimes I wanted them like home more.
Oh.
But it's kind of hard to even say that because I was gone all the time. I did travel volleyball from the time I was like 12.
Right.
And so I did like 2 sports right out of school. So I would do like 2 hours of basketball, 2 hours of volleyball, drive an hour, go home.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you weren't home a lot, but it doesn't mean that you still didn't want them home more.
Yeah.
You wanted them more tension, more.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, 9 kids.
Yeah.
I know you grew up with 6.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Second to 6.
Yeah, second to 6. And so all the kids, they must have been competing for attention to some degree.
Yeah, probably. But I guess the way it was in my family, like everyone just wanted to be like good at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
why good at stuff? Was that important? Was that a value?
Yeah.
Championed by who?
My dad.
Really?
My mom too, but my dad, like, I don't know. He was just very, because we grew up pretty like well off, or at least maybe upper middle class, early childhood. Their business like took off when I was a little bit older, but
took off. Like how rich were they? How wealthy did they get?
Well, I don't know. Like they did pretty well.
Pretty well.
And enough to have like a nanny. Like I did travel volleyball,
right?
That sort of thing.
Not a private jet, but everything you need.
Oh God, no.
Right,
no,
right.
That's like a different level.
Right, but enough money.
Yeah, but my dad was just very much like no handouts for you guys. If you're not working a job, you're in a sport. If you're not in a sport, you're in music. Like you are doing something. And so every single person in my family is just very like high achievers, I guess, or like. Like I have a sister that's going to be a pilot. My brothers are engineers, So everyone's just really hardworking, I guess. Yeah. And then we would do like, we would travel in the summer and I never understood what it was like to go on vacation and relax. I was like, what, you guys go to the beach? Like we hiked 10,000 feet when I was 18. My sister was 10 years younger than me. And so, like, on vacation, it was like, no. You're not going to the city, relaxing. We're going to go. We climbed Devil's Tower. We would never fly. We'd always drive. My dad was like, we're not getting plane tickets. It's too expensive. So
was the message you must be an achiever or you won't get love? Like,
not love, but like, I mean, he just wouldn't be happy, But
who wouldn't be happy?
Probably my dad, but I loved it, to be honest.
Was there a demand on you? Did you feel a demand, like an expectation, like you had to live up to something?
Yeah, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Like it was, I don't know. I loved the feeling of like working really hard at something and getting better. So I was like, I was 12 when I started travel volleyball. I was on like the worst team, and my dad would always say, just work hard and you can work your way up. And like by the time I was 18, I was on the 3rd team, I was a bench warmer. And by the time I was 18, I was on the 1s team and I was starting.
Yeah.
And so that's like, it's just kind of a value that he instilled in us.
Yeah.
Was, he would always tell me that like, if you had 2 employees, if you had one that was talented and one that was hardworking, he would take the hardworking one. Cause he would tell me like early in life, the talented people are going to win, but in the long run, you're going to see who worked hard.
Right.
So
you work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the time. I mean, you seem everywhere all the time. Like it's astonishing how much you tweet. I mean, you're kind of like Cernovich level.
Oh, I know. I love tweeting. It's the best job ever. I'm like, all I have to do is tweet. This is amazing.
But you just let the thoughts roll. Do you think about it, or are you just rolling them out?
I just roll.
You just roll.
Yeah. Because,
and let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah.
And do you ever go like,
Yeah, sometimes.
But you live with it.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I probably could have worded that better, but
right.
It's fine. But I don't understand. People get so mad, and I'm like, why are you guys mad? It's just words.
Right. Well, you know why they get mad.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, because it's like they're just words.
Well,
like, how are you as an adult? Like oh my gosh, they're so crazy. I'm like, you as an adult are getting mad about words.
Well, you're attacking sacred cows for them, like things that they hold dearly. And I'm not there. As I said, I generally agree with you, but I think a lot of those beliefs are illusions. Nevertheless, they're very attached to them, and so of course they're going to have a reaction to that.
Yeah, but so what? Why do you have to freak out?
Yeah.
Chill out.
But if they chilled out, you wouldn't have a career.
Well, no, I think I would, because my first videos, the girls were super chill. That was actually what made it really fun. Was I would do a show and I would say, the pay gap doesn't exist, and the girls are like, huh? And I would say, hey, come back after the show. Let's do a 3-hour reaction. I'm going to explain to you really slowly why this is true. And people loved watching girls' opinions slowly change.
Yeah.
It wasn't even combative. It was just me look at this.
Yeah, that's when I first saw you. It was really good and interesting.
Fun. Yeah,
it was fun. So it started you educating women, feminists, I guess, about some of the illusions of feminism, because those illusions are actually causing them harm.
They called me the tour guide of the Jordan Peterson, Kathy Newman debate. I did that one so many times.
Right. You mean you'd walk them through it, you'd watch it, and you'd explain to them what was going on and why?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I'm like, I think even if they weren't triggered, I think I could still do it in a non-combative way.
Right.
I actually sometimes I don't even really.
But you must enjoy. It's fun. You like arguing.
No, not really.
Really?
I don't like.
You like conversation.
Yeah, I like.
You
conversation.
get. This is the analysis that I had. Listen to Michael Knowles. That you get connection through conversation.
Yeah.
Like you like the feeling of connection. You probably flirt through conversation and even a little bit of argument.
Yeah, I don't prefer it when it's super combative. I don't really like it. I don't.
Who's come at you hard in a way that was uncomfortable and you felt unfair?
H3 for sure.
H3, yeah. Well, he's an asshole.
Yeah, I know. Pierce Morgan, we're cool now, but he did ambush me one time. I didn't appreciate that.
I don't understand his style. He did that to Tate. I'm like, why are you cutting off, super direct? It's like a challenge. I don't get it.
Most of the time he's been fine. Mostly it's just super combative women on shows. I had one chick start.
But you can slay those chicks, can't you?
I mean, yeah, but I don't really like. I was just on Fresh and Fit a week ago. That's why I stopped doing the shows, is I didn't like how combative it was. I don't enjoy having to tell girls to shut the fuck up because you've been talking for 20 minutes and you haven't been letting anyone else talk. I don't enjoy that. And I was just on Fresh and Fit, and it was these girls start punching each other. Yeah, they got into a literal fist fight. I'm like, what the?
This Jerry Springer style.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I like talking to people that actually want to figure out what's true. And when I feel like it's becoming an insult off, or it's you have an agenda for your cause, or you're trying to recruit me to your religion, that's when I get frustrated, because it's not about what is true. And I've always been a super curious person, just really curious.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it all started for me, was curiosity. Why don't men want to get married anymore? Why are they saying dating is so bad? I've never heard this content. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed 1,000 women. I interviewed men that got effed up in divorce. And I'm like, oh, I see what they're talking about now.
People like talking to you.
Sometimes. Some people don't. But yeah, some people don't.
No, some people don't. But even the people who don't kind of like talking to you because it's something.
Yeah.
There's something. Maybe that's your gift. I mean, it's enjoyable to talk to you because you're straightforward and you're honest and you're transparent and you say what you think. But you're not hard.
Yeah.
I don't feel a demand that I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love talking to people. So, so yeah, it's fun.
You love talking to people.
But not.
Why?
I've just always been really curious, and I love pointing out like behavior patterns. And I'm sure you probably like this too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Like even with family court, like I felt like I figured out why society's all messed up. Like I was like, oh, this is why everything's going on.
Right. Women. Well, I think there's something to that. I mean, I could take the other side, but let's, and I will, you know what I mean? Like, because I think men do bear some responsibility, but your general message is, well, what I heard on the Michael Knowles podcast, and I've heard you say in other places, is that women, they don't take responsibility for their choices.
Well, why would they?
Right. Because they get bailed out.
Yeah.
And they're not held accountable.
Yeah. Well, and even like we don't even pay taxes. We're on more.
What do you mean?
We're on, if you look at women that are on alimony and have debt, we have more debt than the money we make. So.
You're one of them.
No, not me. Sorry, guys. Not me, but.
Well, how is that? Your side, your sex, your gender is they're in your mind are the bad guys.
I wouldn't say the bad guys.
But they're responsible for the problems in society.
Yeah.
Aren't men, if men lead, aren't ultimately they responsible?
How can they lead without authority?
Well,
what authority does a man have over his wife? How can he enforce it? I want to leave. Okay, please don't. What is he? I want to rob you and steal your kids. Please don't. What is he?
I could argue that she wouldn't have that thought or impulse to do that if the man wasn't weak.
Tom Brady wasn't weak.
He let his wife train jujitsu with another man. He should have not said, he should have.
I mean, I guess half of billionaires are divorced. So if you think you're smarter than a billionaire, then good luck.
I'm not I do think.
I'm not
smarter, but I think I understand something about male-female dynamic. I think I think men need to take responsibility for their lack of their lack of claiming authority in the relationships. I understand why they do it.
Let's play that out.
Yeah.
I wanna. Okay, let's play it out.
Let's play it out. Yeah, let's role play.
Baby, I wanna train jujitsu.
That's fine.
Okay, I want to do it with that guy.
I'm gonna come in and meet that guy. I'm gonna talk to that guy.
Okay, there you met him. Now what?
Yeah, then I'm gonna fucking give him the fucking business. I'm gonna look him over, right? And I'm gonna like have that moment with him. It's like I know that there's gonna be problems, and that I'm gonna keep him in check.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So now,
like meaning, I'm gonna protect my territory. Brady wasn't protecting his territory.
Let's continue.
And if you don't protect your territory, then your wife is gonna fuck someone else.
Yeah, let's go with this. Right?
Yeah.
I say, all right. Now, okay, I'm training with him now. See, have fun at training camp. Now what? Stop it.
No, well.
Okay. Well, it's not the jujitsu. I want to go next door and sleep with another.
Why does she want to do all those things? Because she's not paying attention to her. If he was giving her the attention that she needed, she wouldn't be out fucking some other guy.
Why would she marry Tom Brady and expect to get a ton of attention?
For sure. But I mean, I saw it happen when he retired and then he came out of retirement and he probably like that false promise. Probably what he said is, "Oh, I'm going to spend more time with the family. Football's over."
Why would she ask that of him?
Why should
like why would you? My question is, why would you marry Tom Brady with that expectation?
Well, I think that's a fair question. I'm not saying that she doesn't bear responsibility, but I'm saying both parties bear responsibility in that situation. And I think there is a way, just as if a man is fucking around, you have to look at the wife and and you hear women say this, well, were you taking care of your man? And I think the opposite is also true. No?
No, I think if he was gone for 8 months of the year, or I don't know what it is, but I know that professional, maybe I'm thinking basketball, but I know professional athletes travel a lot for work. For games, the seasons are long, whatever. Yeah. He can't watch her 24/7. If it wasn't him, I just think it was going to be someone else.
Right.
I think when a woman wants to cheat, she wants to cheat.
Yeah. No,
and I don't really think there's anything you can do to stop it when a woman wants to do the wrong thing. And there's no way for men to enforce this. Please don't cheat. Well, I have Instagram. Please don't cheat. Well, there's these dating apps. Please don't cheat. Well, I'm going to walk to the grocery store. Like, if she wants to cheat, she's going to cheat and she's responsible.
I don't believe that. I mean, I believe that, but I believe that a woman is not going to cheat on a man that she respects. And why doesn't she respect him is the question. Do you think, right? Don't you agree with that? Are you going to cheat on a man that you actually respect?
No, I wouldn't cheat, but I think that women are either cheaters or they're not. And I just think it's a character flaw.
Do you believe in the patriarchy?
What do you mean believe in it?
Well, do you think that is the right order that men should lead in the culture? I mean, if you believe women shouldn't vote, you have to believe in the patriarchy.
Yeah, I think it would be better. Well, when you say believe, it's like there's no magic wish list. It's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But as a standard to try and live up to.
Yeah, fine.
Aim for.
Yeah. Yes.
You do believe in that.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you are the leader, right? If you're the leader of your corporation, man or woman, if things go wrong in your corporation, that's on you.
But you have the right to fire people, and that keeps them in line. No, I'm serious. There has to be some enforcement arm when you have an authority.
Right.
And that's the problem is, okay, yeah, I can fire you, but great. You get half of my fortune, my children, and you could throw an abuse allegation on your way out the door. I don't think that's authority. And that's the problem is you can be the most alpha guy in the world. Maybe you picked wrong. Things change over time. Women change. Maybe she got in the wrong group of friends. Maybe
Brady wasn't fucking her.
Maybe, I don't know. But my whole point is that right now they don't have authority. There's no enforcement.
Men, but but that you're implying that authority comes from somewhere outside themselves. And what I'm suggesting is the authority must come from within the man.
Well, I've seen a lot of guys that tried. I've met a lot of guys that tried that authority from. I just watched a video today, and the guy was like,
"Did your mom dominate your father?"
No, not really. My dad was just a busy guy. Like, he was just working. He was.
Did your dad stand up to her?
I mean, at times, I wasn't really involved in their marriage.
No, of course not. But you see, you're a kid. You see things. You feel the vibe. You get the vibe of things.
When I was a kid, I would say they actually got along better than most of my friends. Mm-hmm. So I would say, like, when I was growing up, I remember even like I had this guy named Anthony I was friends with in high school. And he said, it's weird to see parents that get along. I've never seen my parents flirt like yours do.
Oh.
So I don't know. I mean, they weren't like, I'm not trying to say they were perfect. You know, they had like their problems, but I don't really want to go in.
I understand.
But I've never really saw them fighting growing up. Like, to be honest.
But dynamic, you can feel a dynamic in a situation. Like my family, people would say, "Oh, we live in a patriarchy, male dominated." I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That was not my experience growing up. Yeah. The women dominated in my family, so it was very skewed. And because of that, I didn't know how to show up for women. Because I thought in some way you had to defer to them.
Women,
and then I saw that they don't actually respect that. And then I had to go on this journey of like finding my inner authority. And that's why I ultimately got married. And we had to go through that ourselves, because when I said to her, I'm going to provide, this is before we got married. Like,
Did you get married in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was waiting for this.
Oh, God.
I was waiting for this. Why?
Why? Oh, God. Texas is one of the worst I've seen. I know there's one thing that's better about Texas. I can't remember if it's a child support cap or a 50-50 custody cap. I can't remember. There's one thing that's better slightly about Texas, but I've seen the most expensive, worst divorces here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, there's all that oil money.
For you, though. I really do.
Well, when you said you told me congratulations, and I felt a sweetness in your tone, like you were happy for me.
I always wish happiness.
Yeah.
Would I statistically bet on it?
Never tell me the odds.
Well, I think that's why people don't want to know them.
I understand. I understand.
I think it's like, yeah.
Well, I think we're both. I think it's good you're fighting your battle. I think it's good I'm fighting my battle. In some way, what you're doing is trying to warn men and hold women accountable. And what I'm trying to do is strengthen men.
Yeah.
Is make you, and if you're stronger, you're going to see the thing that, the red flags that maybe you wouldn't see before you get married, or avoid it altogether.
Yeah. I think you can't out alpha the state. And so at the end of this day, the state has the big guns.
You can out alpha the state.
Yeah, I disagree. Because at the end of the day, if a woman wants to leave, the state backs her.
You don't believe that? Well, look, there's a guy currently right now out alphaing the state, Donald Trump, all 91 allegations. He's going to fucking skate on all of them. Why? Because that's the ultimate alpha.
Yeah.
He fucking...
Okay, well, look up how much he paid to his ex-wife.
I understand. I understand.
That's not a good
well, he likes the racy women, and he can afford it.
No, my point is even Donald Trump got huge divorce.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I know the second wife like cheated with the bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she...
Well, he was cheating all over the place. I mean,
it's Trump. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
You're not... Are you cynical about marriage?
Not for me. I think mine's going to be great.
because why? Why is yours going to be great? You're single right now?
No, I'm dating someone.
Oh, you're dating someone?
Yeah.
Oh, how long have you been dating someone?
Not long, just like a couple months.
Oh, good.
So it's new.
He's in London?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he's here. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
I'm visiting my parents. Aww.
I like him. He's great.
That's amazing.
But it's like new, so I don't like to like say too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my future is gonna be great. But I think wealthy people live a different reality. And I think a lot of times what I find is like, I think marriage is going to be an upper class institution.
Interesting.
And I think the middle class, it'll disappear. And that's what you're seeing. And a lot of times the men that have money for divorce attorneys are like, oh yeah, just out alpha the state. And I'm like, yeah, okay, talk to a guy that's worked in a factory for 25 years.
I understand.
And now at 50, his wife takes his pension.
Right. If you got $100 million, you can write the big check and just get a new wife, which is what a lot of these guys do.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think they want to, but they're like, it's not the level of devastation that I see amongst middle class America. Mm-hmm. For those men, I've seen they get it the hardest. Mm-hmm. Where the wealthy men, they'll take unless she gets into their business, that's pretty bad.
Say that again. Unless she what?
She gets into their business.
Because
that's really sad for a lot of guys. Like they'll the wife will get into their business and then like basically like there's one guy whose story I covered where the wife, and he still made it. He still recovered, but she literally got him in jail, and she ruined all of his clients and got him. He paid, I think, over $1 million in owed over $1 million in the divorce, and then he ended up in jail for not paying child support after $1 million. You know how pissed you'd be? And he had to like basically beg the judge to give him a lower thing didn't even have a job because his wife subpoenaed all of his clients. Like, oh my gosh, imagine you do therapy, right? You know, your wife subpoenas all of your clients. What does that do to your income in the future?
Yeah.
So they don't want to.
Yeah. Why do you have a sense of why it's gone this way? Why are we in this disastrous?
Well, I think it's because women voted.
So,
because all of these policies, I guess some did start earlier. I know there were some in the 1800s, but a lot of these policies came after the 1920s, like after women voted. That's when abortion came. I think they changed the legal definition of rape in like the 60s, maybe. I'd have to look into it. But a lot of these policies are like voted for by women.
Women voting means
Democrat.
and so why is women voting bad? Like,
well, because I asked the men's rights activists, like, because men's rights has been around since at least the 1920s in the U.S. So you ask, why have they been so ineffective? There's been a little bit of progress in maybe the last 2 years, but you ask the question, why can't men get access to their kids? This seems pretty simple. And they said it's because the politicians will never change the laws because the largest swing voters is single mothers. And women are 55% of the population, so you cannot win an election without women.
Yeah, well, on every demographic currently in the United States is voting Republican, except for single women, white women, single white women.
Mm-hmm.
You single white women?
I know. Well, and I've seen it firsthand because I've gone to like college. I wore a women shouldn't vote to a feminist convention at like a college, and it was all white women.
Yeah.
So I've seen it. Yeah.
They know they're crazy though. That there's hope there. I dated it before I met my wife. I dated a lovely, lovely woman. Right. But she was a hardcore feminist. This was in LA, and she was the angry type, and she was blasting on Twitter every day. And we got into this huge fight and about this stuff. And I said to her, why are you fucking saying all this bullshit? You know that it's bullshit. I know that you know that it's bullshit. And she said, this is what I talk to my friends about. It was completely, and you've heard this phrase that all social movements are about people bonding, essentially. It's about social cohesion.
Yeah.
So that's what it's become. It's just an ideology that keeps people together. But isn't it, what do you think about this idea? Because this has been talked about. Why are liberal women, single liberal women, are they for immigrants coming in, particularly Muslim immigrants who are extraordinarily patriarchal, who many of them believe in Sharia law, and many of them want to have women back where they were 100 years ago? Why are those women want those guys in?
Women aren't logical. Good luck.
Well, maybe they want to be dominated. Maybe they want to be led, and the men aren't doing. You heard Alexander Juan Antonio Cortez, AJAC, on Twitter.
Mm-mm.
Feminism was a shit test that men failed.
That's kind of funny.
It is funny. I think I guess my point is it goes to this, like, men have some fucking responsibility here.
I think most men don't, because again, only a small percentage of men. I've thought about this. Only a small percentage of men have political power. So it's like you're going to go
Say
up.
more, because
I think so. Okay, what percent of men actually change the laws? What percent of men are pushing these laws? Like, very few men are in politics. If all the men got together and voted, they still wouldn't outvote women.
Right.
And I think it's like, okay, what more do we want men to do? They run the whole infrastructure. They pay most of the taxes, and we're still going to go and
You're telling me you can't persuade your woman to vote the right way? Then you're a weak man.
Well,
That's what I would say.
But they do. Married women are more conservative. What are they supposed to do? Say, women, stop being whores. Good luck. Like,
can you make a hoe a housewife?
I wanted to say one celebrity, but I want to interview this celebrity as an example, so I'm not going to say.
She was a hoe that turned housewife?
Yeah, there's one I could think of, but that's not the rule.
It's not the rule.
No, it's not the rule. Sometimes I've seen it, but I think like a hoe married to a guy with a backbone will be a better wife than a virgin married to a guy without one.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Are you having fun?
I am.
Tell me about, like, just, I don't know, like you have this Audacity network.
Oh yeah.
Because you got demonetized on YouTube, is that right?
6 months ago.
6 months ago. You're not, I think you got kicked off Instagram as well, is that right? Or something?
Yeah, I was deleted off of Instagram 2 or 3 times. I lost count. TikTok 7. And demonetized on YouTube.
For what? What?
Hate speech. They always
hate
get
speech?
Me. Yeah. I mean, apparently on YouTube, you should bleep this out. I even asked them in my meeting with YouTube, I said, if I could statistically prove that there are more high IQ men than women, would it matter? And they said no. Like,
right. Well, they fired James Damore, back in the day.
I don't know who that is.
Doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you created your own platform, and you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's fun? Like your media, it must be interesting because I guess you get to talk to whoever you want to talk to.
Yeah, you should feel honored.
I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. I just think it's fun.
You just like email people, or you get into contact, and
yeah, I think psychology is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's interesting.
Why are you saying that? Because you think psychology is interesting. That's why you want to talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think it's interesting.
Right, but what I'm saying. We can talk some more psychology. We will. Well, what about your psychology? What do you know about your psychology? What do you know about yourself?
I don't know how to answer that. Like, what do you mean?
Well, what have you discovered about yourself? I mean, you were an athlete. Mm-hmm. You get tested as an athlete. You learn things about yourself. Then you've gone through this whole progression from a small little YouTuber to this internet, I don't know what you call you, celebrity, influencer, and you're controversial. You have all this impact like that. You must have learned things about yourself along the way, or have you?
I learned about myself. More balls than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess I never thought it would get this big.
Yeah.
Like we used to get 100 million views a month. Once I got demonetized, I had to like stop because I was trying to draw back the views because YouTube, like I was trying to limit the content so maybe we could get back into the program.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've just interviewed a lot of people I never thought I'd meet.
It must be fun.
But I feel like I'm kind of the same person, you know. I maybe have different opinions, but I've always been like the same person, you know.
Right, you feel like you're authentically you. You haven't changed. You're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to harden yourself a little bit because there's so much backlash, and I mean you're attacked constantly? Is there I don't know, like a defense or something you have to do to protect yourself?
I won't watch like hit pieces on me or whatever. If it's a big one, I'll have like a friend of mine watch it, you know, because I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna I don't know if it's gonna ruin my day, you know.
So you won't watch it, but has it affected you? I don't know, like in your relationships. Like I think we talked about this last time. Like you walk into a room, you don't know what people think about you. Like some may love you, some may hate you. I mean, last time you said there was a woman on your volleyball team who stopped talking to you.
Oh yeah, freaking. Yeah, I would say that's kind of hard sometimes. Like when it's like people will have these like really strong opinions about me, and I'm like, okay, what? Because I said words you don't like. Why are you so mad? I'm like, so what?
Right. Yeah. But is it
like, what, did I commit a crime? Like, what did I do?
But is it hurtful to not be seen? You're not seen. You're not more than that. You're demonized at times.
Yeah, when it's people I know in like real life, like they'll see like a clip and they won't understand the full context of what I'm saying, because it's like I'll give like a 20-minute explanation on a whiteboard of why I think this, like why I think women shouldn't vote, but they're too lazy to watch it, right? And I don't expect them to. Like, it's fine, but the way I see it is like everyone's got opinions that you disagree with. You know, I don't know what you think about the most controversial issues in society. And I don't really care. Because if you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you.
Right.
And I never understood why people, like even like right now, I think trad cons are mad at me because I think marriage is a bad deal for men.
Right.
And it's like they're so mean about it. They're like, oh, we need to pray for and not in a nice way. I know when you're praying to be nice, and I know when you're praying to say go fuck yourself. I know the difference. And it's like, why? Because I have an opinion you don't agree with. So what?
Okay.
Like, why are you guys mad about words? Just words, But
that feels like a kind of rationalization. Like, I understand they're just words, but they're not just words. They're words that have an intention attached to them.
So?
Well, but that intention is going to have impact, and people are going to respond to the impact. So it's not that they're, I understand from your point of view, you have a much more open mind, that you're open to different ideas. So if somebody comes to you and says something outrageous, you're the kind of person that's going to be like, let me consider that.
Yeah,
but that's not most people.
I'll be like, explain it. Well, then that's not my fault. Then why are you online? Because that's why I see it. Like, why if you don't want crazy opinions?
Well, they do want. They just
want a wine.
And that's yeah.
You could just be on.
But what you're doing is the point, right? Isn't there?
But I just think like truth is truth regardless of who said it.
Right, but you have to know what the impact you're having. Like when these tweets you send them out, like because you have a sense of humor, obviously too.
Yeah, some people don't. I'm like, damn.
Well, that's how you win. That's why Tate wins, right? Yeah. That's why Trump wins. They're funny. Yeah. You're funny.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so in the playfulness of it, like there is a, you're doing something.
Well, they can cry about it, I guess.
They can cry about it.
But it's like weird to me to meet adults with that little emotional regulation. Like, it's weird to me, like, okay, if you're 15, 14, 12. But I'm like, you guys are full-grown adults.
Like who? Who? Is there somebody?
There's a lot of women that just spurg out on X.
But like random women? Or are there women in the culture that are prominent that you see that are going crazy?
Okay, I'll give you an
Who's
example.
The main wackos?
Oh, God.
Call them out.
Okay, I'll give you... So, last year, I said 25-year-old chicks or women are hotter than 35-year-old women.
Right.
And all of these grown married women just felt the need to tweet their selfies at me and show me that they were hotter than me.
I saw that.
I saw this from, like, I think Sarah Gonzalez was one. This is like a married conservative woman. And I'm like, whoa, this is so weird.
But you're tweeting that out. Why?
Because I think it's true. And I think the companies will say, oh, you're hot forever. And I think it's pandering, and I just don't think it's true. So I think it's more important to be accurate and true rather than pander to feelings. So if there's 10 things in the media that say, no, you're going to be young forever. Why can't I be one that says, no, ladies, we are not. We age.
Yeah. Well, you want it to be honest, because women should realize that they're not young forever. And when you're at your peak beauty, that's when that's when you should find your man and get married and have babies.
Yeah. And so I just think it's like weird. The way I'm like, that's so weird. Like, why are these married women tweeting me their selfies? Like,
I agree. It is fucking weird.
Send these selfies to your husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a couple that did it. I can't remember their names. I remember their faces. And I just think it's like, it's weird because then all the women like think they look like they're filters when I'll see like a video or them in real life and they got like the neck sagging, which is fine. No hate, everyone ages. But I'm just like, why are we, it's like play pretend.
Right.
And I don't like you get to this point where you realize that like pretty much everyone's lying or pandering to you. And I just don't like it.
You don't like it.
Mm-mm.
And then so you want to expose it.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I wonder, like, if we want to talk psychology, because it makes me think. Well, here's how here's how I see it. Like, we all have gifts. Like, we have a kind of natural essence, right? Yeah. So it's like I think what we all do is an expression of that to some degree, and often that part of us can be co-opted by something usually painful.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's something else that's in there. And it's for me, when it's important for me in my work to gain clarity about what it is that I want to express and why I'm expressing it, so it's as clean as possible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why?
I just don't like liars.
Why? Why? They're everywhere.
It's annoying. They annoy me.
Why?
Because
why do you hate liars? Do you lie?
Ever? Well, I probably sometimes.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Yeah, of course. We all lie.
I don't know. I just got to the point where I realized.
You must have saw a lie. There must have been a moment where you saw a lie that felt painful to you. Like something you. I'm not. It may not even be a memory, but like there had to be something where it was like you saw something. It was a lie. You didn't like it. It felt like a betrayal, and it stuck with you because it's like the intention to expose. You know.
I don't know.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was just. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing regardless for whatever reason that you're doing it. Yeah. It's good.
I mean, I wish I could tell you. I don't know. It was like one day, because I started off reacting to like Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
And I started interviewing women and kind of doing similar stuff where I was interviewing women, asking questions, interviewing, victims of divorce rape. And I just realized everybody's lying. Like everybody. I'll give you one maybe instance where I realized this. There was a guy that came on the show and he was arguing with me so heavy. He was like, high value men shouldn't cheat. Like that's bad. And I was saying, yeah, but I mean, rich, famous men tend to cheat. And it was so crazy because it was like, this happened more than once where he had like 2 or 3 girlfriends. He was doing the same thing. And what I realized is men often lie in order to get female approval. Yeah, and it's common.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, and I was annoyed because he was like making me look like the bad guy. And
right.
Then you find, because the women talk from the show, so it's like if 2, 3 of them are telling me they're dating him, I'm like, well, you're doing the same thing. It's fine, I don't care. But it's like, I'm like, so you're lying and you're trying to, and that's when I get frustrated too with like the marriage debates when I'm like debating someone on marriage and then I find out that someone in their community went through a divorce rape. And I'm like, well, why didn't you bring that up?
Right.
Because that's important, that even you're not immune, even because of religion. And that's where I get frustrated is I just kept seeing people like lie. So, and I felt like.
What did it mean to you when you saw that? Like, was it disappointing?
Yeah, because I just wanted to figure out like what was true about the world. Like that's kind of what I went into it. I heard Kevin Samuels and I was like, wow, I've never heard like content like this. This is so interesting. And I went to like a pickup boot camp. It's like this is a whole nother story, but
pickup boot camp.
Yeah, it was like
for guys.
Yeah, they would teach men how to get laid.
Yeah,
and I like went and like vlogged it, and I just thought it was so interesting. I'm like, wow, I've never thought about this from the guy's point. It's so interesting. And then it just, it was a rabbit hole. And then I sort of investigated for myself. I interviewed women. I interviewed victims of divorce rape. I started looking into the court system. And I just realized, like, the whole media is lying. We're all trying to convince women that we're young forever to sell whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the way the whole economy is going. And now we have a society of single parents. And that's probably what you're going to raise your kids in, whether you like it or not.
Right.
So, yeah. And it's not like a happy reality, but I'm like, can we at least be honest about it?
Yeah.
So
you're a truth teller.
Try to. I lie sometimes, though.
What do you lie about?
The last lie I told. I don't know.
You must have to lie to protect yourself. I think I said this the last time. I see how successful you are and how self-assured and confident you are. And I also can see, the young woman and I see her sensitivity. I see the femininity and there's the aspect of me that wants to like protect you, like it's just a natural instinct. And because I feel your sensitivity. And so I guess what I'm saying is you must have to lie to protect yourself in some way.
I probably would be better if I lied more. Sometimes I say too much.
Are you sensitive?
Sometimes, yeah. Like, I don't do well with like when people are very insulting, I don't know what to do. I'm just like, okay.
Right.
I wish I was better at like comebacks. But I'm like, okay.
When they're insulting around, well, people talk about how they're because you go after how women. Do you go after how women look?
No, I say general statements.
Yeah.
In general, I'm sure, I have like 18,000 tweets. You can find something.
Sure.
But in general, it's mostly just, men don't like overweight women. They don't like old women, and they don't like whores in general.
Right.
And then they tweet me their selfies.
Yeah. But they also tweet attacking you.
Yeah.
They'll go after how you look.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be hurtful.
Eh.
It all rolls.
I mean, I guess sometimes, but it's like, I just don't really care about that.
Were you worried that all this attention and the position that you're in was going to make it difficult for you to find a boyfriend, a husband?
I don't think men really care that much.
What do you mean?
About like what I do. Like, it just hasn't really been like too big of a problem. But yeah.
But did you worry about it? Like, did you think about it?
Not really. I just kind of liked doing it, so I just kept going.
You don't think? Would you give it up?
I had to, yeah.
If you had, do you want to have kids?
Mm-hmm.
You do. Mm-hmm. Oh, how many kids do you want to have?
4, but I think I might have started too late. So I was like, I don't know if I'll get there. And I was like, I'll try like 1 and see how that goes.
And I assume you'd want to. Well, I guess you don't know. You don't know what would happen. You may want to continue, you may not. Mm-hmm. But you like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's fun. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you've made a career out of it. And yeah, we need you. Like the culture needs you.
Women shouldn't vote. Someone's gotta say it.
I got a lot of trouble for that. Christopher from Gilmore Girls, because I went on my podcast and talked about our interview and said how convincing your argument was. And I think you're right. I think women shouldn't vote. And you know what? I went to my wife and 2 friends of mine, colleagues, and asked them, listen, if men were taking care of business, like if you were provided for it, and men, like you felt like the man's got it locked down, would you want to pay attention to politics? Would you need to vote? And all 3 of them said, no.
Yeah. Well, women vote on abortion so heavily, sadly.
What is that about?
I've never seen women fight harder for anything than to be whores and then to abort their kids.
Right.
That's always the big marches you see that are pro-feminist. I've been to a lot of them. That's like what they talk about. They want, like I went to one in London. I wish I filmed this because it's actually really funny. But we did film it, but the footage it's like undercover cameras are kind of hard. But it was pretty funny because I went there in like a women shouldn't vote t-shirt and I'm just sitting at this like asking questions. And
I'm just here.
Yeah, I'm like, guys.
Not doing anything. I don't know why you're all upset. Women shouldn't vote. Fuck you.
And yeah. Well, and I was telling them, and I'm like, but women abort their kids for no reason. But these women they're trying to figure out how to send abortions through the mail to African and Muslim countries.
Send abortions?
Yeah, like abortion pills to the mail.
Oh.
And that's what they were literally talking about, like places. And I thought it was super disrespectful to their culture because maybe like there's some countries in Africa where it's completely banned in the Middle East. And these women were talking about basically like if they could put the same medication they use to kill a kid. I don't know what it is. I'm not a science person. But the way I understood it can also be used to do something else medically. So you can tell those women to go to the doctor and get this medicine for something else to abort their kids.
I see.
And so it was like information campaigns to figure out how to help women in countries that don't affect you kill their children. And I've never seen women fight harder for anything else.
The issue around abortion, not that we need to get in a whole debate about this, but where I got persuaded is if you make it illegal, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, my dad feels the same way. My dad thinks they should my dad's like less conservative than me, actually. But he told me that the conservatives should just give it up because they lost. And I think men are a little more practical. I don't want to say I agree. I sort of agree with it because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And well, it is a losing issue for conservatives. Yeah. If you're going to die on that horse, you're going to die.
Yeah. And So
yeah,
it's sad, like because my mom could have aborted my brother and she ended up giving him up for adoption. So I think it's wrong, but it's like that's why Trump, I think he's saying leave it up to the states right now because he's smart. He's like in my, if he's 70 in his lifetime. I mean, I know they say like Roe versus Wade got overturned or something, but women are still aborting their kids left and right.
Yeah,
that's not really
no, that ship has sailed for now.
Plan Bs are now in like Walgreens, which are arguably, I mean, I don't know because the abortion.
Listen, it's not that hard to not get pregnant.
I know.
This is the thing. I've been doing it a long time. Never knocked anybody up. It's like,
I know.
Hello, pull out for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? You can only, and anyway, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, but so.
Okay.
So I sort of agree with you. Like, it's hard for me to say it because I morally think it's wrong, but would I predict that it would change in my lifetime? No.
Yeah. You said on the Michael Knowles podcast that you can't lead a woman who won't follow. Will you follow? Will you follow a man?
Yep.
What's that look like? What does that mean?
I think that it's thinking about what he wants before you.
Okay.
So, even I was thinking the way I wanted to answer the question earlier when you asked, do you like how many kids do you want? Was I wanted to say it depends how many he wants.
Right.
Because it's really like if you believe that he has authority, it's not up to you. It's up to him. Where like how many kids do you want? Where do you want to live? I think it's like molding to like his life plan and what he wants to do.
Don't you think though that there's a natural intelligence that gets formed between a man and a woman, and they almost form one brain, one entity, and that the man leads, but it's like a dance. It's like I'm going to lead the dance, but I'm attuned to you and your body and how you move, so that it's almost like we lead it together because I'm attuned to you so much, and so there's a, you know what I'm saying? Like I lead, but we're both leading.
I think men are pretty easygoing. I don't think most men have crazy demands,
Yeah.
So I think most men, if their wife says, "Oh, I want to decorate it this way," he's like, "All right."
Well, we also want to. There's a natural instinct to want to please the woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think it's gotta be. I just think it's who has the final say, and can he tell you no?
I think women have the final say in a lot of cases.
Most cases,
men lead, women have the final say. Well, it depends on what it is.
Because women have authority.
Uh-huh.
I think most marriages and relationships are matriarchal, meaning women has the final say and they do what the woman wants. But I think it works better. And I'm not going to say I'm going to do it perfectly. Probably not. I'm a woman.
Perfectly meaning you're going to follow perfectly.
Yeah, I mean,
like you'll try to get what you want. You won't. Will you obey?
I'm a woman.
Yeah. Is that erotic? To like erotic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that there's women are sexually charged by being told what to do. It's a very common sexual fantasy for women, right? And so which tells you that that's what they really want.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at sex and sexual fantasies, or sexual desire, that's usually an indication of how they actually want it to be in real life.
I just see what happens when the women have more leverage and they just seem to leave the guy. So I just would prefer to be in a relationship where he has the final say. That's just how I'd prefer it.
But do you have to give that to him? Or does he have to take it? You know what I mean? You're not going to, you have opinions.
Yeah, no, I know.
How's this going to work, Pearl?
I don't know what you mean.
What do you mean?
Like, can you say that in a different way?
Like, it's a negotiation. You're always in negotiation with them. Like,
sounds terrible. You negotiate everything.
well, we're negotiating right now. We're negotiating this conversation.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so? Like in some way. Well, we're negotiating what we're going to talk about and how we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always some give and take. There's always some power dynamic because people want what they want. And mostly we're not conscious about what we want. So we rationalize our behavior. We don't think that we're doing stuff, but we're doing stuff.
No, I'm pretty easygoing.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very easygoing.
Mm.
You don't get that vibe, huh?
Pretty
well,
let me tune into you. Let me tune into you.
I don't know.
No, you'd need a strong man, or you're not going to respect him because you're strong.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But you're also going to come hard because you're also very smart and you see the world in a clear way, and you don't tolerate lies or like the illusion. You don't want to live in that place. So I can imagine like you're going to be calling him on his bullshit, which is, going to create a dynamic, which is fine. Women should call men on their bullshit, shouldn't they?
I don't really think that's your place.
It's not your place? Well, they're going to do it one way or the other. Whether you say it or act it out, suddenly you don't want to have sex. Why not? Because you're fucking full of shit.
I think that's wrong.
But can you? Well, I understand it's wrong, but
I don't think you should do that to your husband.
But I don't think I don't think you can help it because I don't think it's a conscious thing. Is what I'm saying. Like I don't think they're intending to do it. I think it's just how the dynamic works, right? Like this whole idea of the shit test, right? Like that women are constantly testing men to see how strong they are, and that his job is to continue to handle that, like playfully, usually, but sometimes firmly, so that she can feel safe to surrender. Like I'm not going to surrender to some guy who's not fucking solid. They're always testing. That's red pill stuff.
Yeah.
So you think what women should? I mean, when you say women shouldn't do that, what the red pill would say is they can't not do it.
Well, I think it's like you're getting into tricky territory when it's like shouldn't. I mean, people can do what they want, but I think one works better than the other. I think
what works better than the other? I think
it works better when men have the final say. I think women behave better when they're with a guy that they know will leave if she acts too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that there's, what did you say on Knowles? Like there's a lack of a shortage of good women?
Yeah, 3% statistically have no. If you look at women being overweight, no debt. No, it's 3%. I swear. They had an actuary. They tried it, and this was with the freaking the academics that think they know something. None of them have interviewed the women. None of them have done the work, but they'll dispute those numbers. But they looked at it's like 3 or less tattoos, no debt, not overweight.
3 or less tattoos.
I know, they even gave a tattoo here and there.
2's okay?
Not okay, but they're trying to expand it.
Right,
Like, this is
I understand.
bad,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 3% of women.
3% of women.
Under 35, I think, no previous kids. They broke it down. You could look up Aaron Clary, and that's what they'll do. They'll get a 30-second buzz clip that says, oh, those stats are not real. They're not real, guys. They'll like gaslight the men. And they'll be like, no, the women are perfectly fine. And no, Aaron Clary like breaks down how they come to those. And they looked at it like from dating apps. And they looked at debt like per woman. I don't know. It was very in-depth, the study they did. It was from the Book of Numbers.
Right.
And yeah. And I could attest, I've interviewed 1,000 women. I can attest that's about what I would say too.
Wow.
Oh, borderline, a quarter of women have like a personality disorder.
But why do they have borderline?
I don't know. But I don't think if my brother was dating and he had a chick that had borderline.
Aren't all problems holistic? Like, can you really attribute, like, they're the problem, that's the problem? Isn't it like, you know what I mean? Isn't it like, I don't know. Like, what are just, I'm sure that women would say, what the fucking men, these incels, they're all losers. They don't have jobs and they play video games, smoke pot, and beat off to porn. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they could say that.
But you're not sympathetic to that side. Because I see their point.
Not.
Do you want to marry a guy who's been beaten off to porn for the last 5 years?
Well, if men naturally want to have sex, say 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's a little earlier, but we'll say 18.
Yeah, yeah.
If the women aren't sleeping with them, what are they supposed to do? Women are selecting for 20-30% of men,
mm-hmm.
and then they say, they tell these men, we're not interested in you, and then
mm-hmm.
like, what are they supposed to do?
You have a documentary coming out?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me?
It used to be called Why Don't Men Want to Marry Anymore, but I just switched it to How to Destroy a Man. And there's a guidebook out there it's a book, it's published and it's legal,
mm-hmm.
where it details a step-by-step guide of how to destroy a man's reputation, steal his money, and steal his kids, basically.
Wow.
And then I'm also adding in some stuff about the school system, too, and how that destroys men in a way because they have no male leadership.
Yeah.
And if you look at like yearbooks, the last 20 years, male leadership has just been like taken out of schools.
Yeah.
So, that's.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm pushing back, but I'm with you. I mean, the war against men is
mm-hmm.
real.
Yeah, and it just talks about. I don't know how society doesn't appreciate men. They pay the taxes. They do all the hard jobs, and yet, even like the military men, it's like we shit on them as a thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving our country. We'll take your children, your money, and put you on child support for the next 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be like a subsector of it is about the military.
When's that coming out?
Oh gosh. Well, it was gonna come out sooner if I didn't get freaking demonetized. Freaking A. I'm trying to get it out in the next 6 months. I don't know.
Right.
Because it's the demonetization thing made it a lot more difficult.
You're ambitious
mm-hmm.
because you want to get this message out. And you think it's important. It's important to you.
I just think it's true.
It's true.
Yeah. I just think it's like it's what's happening.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps like asking the wrong questions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, it's like they want to shame men. Like even the porn thing, like why are men watching porn? It's always bad men for watching porn, but they never ask why.
By the way, I agreed with you. What was the porn star that went Christian?
Oh, freaking Nala. These simps.
Nala? I mean, this is it's obviously it's the best career move for her. She got her OnlyFans money. It's like, what can I do next? I know.
Why did she raise the prices after she converted? That's
so bizarre.
There's no good reason to raise. They're like, oh, so less men could buy it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
This is the problem. Like, you leave the left because they're stupid. You go over to the right. You're like, they're just as fucking stupid.
Well, and I'm like, well, why are you bringing on a porn star before you're bringing on, I don't know, a guy that got screwed in divorce? Like, why aren't you?
Well, they want views.
You know. And it's a fun story, but
it's a fun story. It is a fun story, but yeah, you
it's true.
You hammered that story, and you took a lot of heat for that.
Oh God, there's nothing men will defend harder than an ex-ho.
Why is that? Do you think?
I don't know.
I think men love hoes secretly. I love hoes.
Yeah, yeah, most guys do love.
But there is. It's like I have a soft spot in my heart for hoes. I don't know why.
Well, yeah. I mean, if a chick's hot enough, men love
I guess
them,
that's that's it.
So I think she's cute.
It's a fantasy.
Well, and I think men have like a protector instinct of women. So I think naturally, like if you go too hard on women, they view you as like mean, even if it's true. So
yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you falling for this?" And then they said they'll pray for me. I'm like, "What did I do?" Did I commit a crime? Do I have sex?
Pray for you because you are unforgiving.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a good. I'll need to find God, and I'm like.
But you have a relationship with God.
I do, but what they always do is just say it's like not a good enough relationship, and that's always what they'll. If I just behaved in the way they wanted me to behave, then it would be, I would have found God.
Yeah, I don't think
I would call out this porn star.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm like, really? You guys are championing a porn star, but what?
I thought it was
have I committed a crime? Like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Said words you guys don't like. That's really.
Are there things that people don't get about you? What don't people get or see or understand that you might like them to? I want to know you more. Just feel that when I say that, though,
Pearl.
Pearl.
To think of something,
but don't think.
Okay.
Just see what happens when I say I want to know you more. And what happens?
I was trying to think of something.
Don't think. Can you get out of your mind for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just feel. Mm-hmm. And when I say that I want to know you more, just notice what happens. Mm-hmm. What happens?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry, I don't know.
Are you connected to your feelings, your emotions? Are you like in your body? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know what you're feeling in any given moment? Do you know when you're sad?
Yeah.
How do you know when you're sad?
I feel sad.
You let yourself feel it though? You don't push it away, you don't avoid it. No,
I just try to like get on with it. That's kind of how I see it. It's like, what am I going to do? Sit here and feel sorry for myself? Get to moving.
Well, there's a difference between you don't have to, you can feel sad and not feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
What makes you sad?
I would say I've had a couple friends that sort of like turned on me when I got famous. And that made me pretty sad because I never thought they would. Mm-hmm. So when people that I like felt like I've been like good to betrayed me, I would say that makes
betrayal.
Yeah, that probably. Yeah, I don't like that.
Has that changed like your trust? Are you less trusting because of that?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess I experienced that when I got famous. It's people want things from you.
Yeah.
And then you feel a little defended and then you're not sure, am I too defended? I'm not, like, it's a weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I had like a friend of like 20 years who, it was so crazy. I used to let her like live with me in the summers and stuff. And I guess like she got mad because I said something on a show, and then she just said she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And I was like, I don't know. I'd been friends with her for like 20 years. And so I never thought that would happen.
And it was hurtful because you enjoyed the friendship. You appreciated the friendship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was meaningful for you.
Yeah, it was.
And then she decided she wanted out because of something you said. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you angry at her? Like, fuck you?
I was. Not anymore. But I was.
Did you talk to her?
Mm-mm. Well, when she asked to like stop being my friend, I did. But then I just,
What do you mean? She called you up or texted you and said, I don't want to be friends anymore?
She just texted me and I just said, okay. Because I wasn't going to fight it. Yeah, like, what am I going to do? Beg you? No. If you don't want to be my friend, okay. So, because she was a bit more liberal, and I'm kind of someone that's like, pick your battles, So I think some of my friends growing up maybe didn't know how conservative I was. And granted, I didn't think women shouldn't vote, but I've always like been more conservative. Like, I even remember one time in college, there was a girl talking about how much she hated Trump supporters. And I was just sitting like listening to her talk, but I was like, I'm at volleyball. I don't really want to,
Yeah.
And so I think maybe to some people I was friends with, like, it was surprising how conservative I was because I'm pretty easygoing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like, I mean, do you want to go to volleyball and talk politics? I'm like, the way I think is that's not what I'm there to do. But here, I'm here to debate, and we're talking about our opinions. This is like the time and the
Well, and
place.
it's your job now.
Exactly. And so it's like, she would get mad. She would see a show and be like, well, why'd you say this? And I'm just like, well, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, yeah. And it was just, and I was,
well, it wouldn't be so activating if you weren't saying things that were at the very least directionally true.
Yeah, no, I know. And so it was just like sad because I was friends with her for like 20 years, and we were really good family friends, would come on our vacations, would live together for a summer, and I don't know, I never thought she would like do that. So
wow.
I was just like, okay.
So there's been a cost.
Yeah, no, and then like last year when I had Nick Fuentes on, there was like people that I was friends with that started saying I was like, I had a co-host call me a colonizer. And it was crazy because we were like, I mean, we didn't hang out, but I was, his channel like doubled in size being friends with me. Yeah, he had 50 and then he went to 100 and stopped growing after. And then like I had a different friend rob me where like a camera went missing. I mean, I guess I don't know for sure it was her, but the stuff was going missing and being charged on my credit card, and then it stopped.
Wow.
She left, so I don't know, but it was like, so I don't know, stuff like that makes me sad because it's like, I view it, if you guys had a show and we're saying completely leftist stuff. And I think sometimes when I was younger, like they would tweet stuff that was super liberal, and if I didn't like it, I'd just mute it, and then I could see you in person, and it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But people can't like separate opinions from the person. And that was really frustrating to me, where I'm like, yeah, I think women shouldn't vote, but I can't change it. They're going to vote forever.
Well, they make you a bad person.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, that was just, and it's even more frustrating when you like helped someone. Like,
you've been betrayed.
Yeah. And I think
over and over.
I wouldn't say over and over because, there's also been last year when the whole Nick Fuentes thing happened, like they were putting, some of my employees, they put their faces, their literal faces, and these are people behind the scenes, on thumbnails, like putting them as slaves, calling them like that sort of thing, right? And there are people that completely had my back, that they were just like, no, they're full of shit, whatever. But it's still frustrating, even if you have like, I think there's something about the human condition where even if there's like 5 people that support you, the one that still doesn't is like, so I try to focus on like, there's always been more people that have my back than didn't, but it's still hard because I feel like I found what was true and I'm trying to tell people. And I'm like, well, guys, why aren't you excited? I figured it out.
Right. They don't see the goodness.
Yeah, well, they think it's like some evil agenda or I'm trying to scare men out of marriage. But I'm like, I just feel wrong not like pushing religion as a solution when I've interviewed, I don't know, 5 men from your religion that I think could commit suicide in the next year. I think that's like wrong, and that's you wanting to sell a religion super hard.
Right.
And I think it's wrong to like, when, they're even like putting actresses, like old unattractive actresses, as the lead in like these movies, like the new, I think that's wrong. Stop pandering to us. No, it annoys
well, it's condescending in a way.
Yeah. It's like, and I think like they keep treating us like children. So I'm not surprised when we get children results.
Interesting.
And so the way I view it is I figured it out. Like I didn't always think all of these, I've always been more conservative, but some of the stuff is like women not voting. That's something I came to, but I'm like, look at guys, this is so true.
Are there things you've gotten wrong?
Yeah. I used to think divorce should be banned. And now I don't think that, because I mean, do you want to be with a chick that doesn't want to be with you? No, and I don't even think like, I don't want to be with a guy that doesn't want to be with me either.
Yeah.
So why would you force people together that don't want to be together? You could maybe argue like till the kids are 12 or so. I could maybe see that. But even so, like, I just think in a relationship.
But it shouldn't be so incentivized, divorce. The incentive should be changed.
Yeah, if there was just no alimony, yeah, that's fine. But I used to think we should ban divorce. I used to think that women should vote. I used to think that.
What's your mom think of that?
My mom? Oh, she doesn't agree. No, I know. I get that a lot.
Do you talk about it?
Yeah, sometimes.
She brings it up?
Yeah, but she's more she's conservative, and my dad's they're both conservative, but I'm just like more like I think they both think women should vote, but sometimes my dad is like, she's kind of got a point. But no, they both yeah, my mom doesn't really like all this stuff, so
she doesn't like it.
Mm-mm.
Like doesn't like you doing this, or doesn't like this conversation.
I just think sometimes they come for her, and I think that frustrates her. Yeah, like
what do you mean?
Like at one point, I told a story. I was on a show, and I said oh, my mom used to bully me when I was a kid for being fat, and I'm gonna get them after. She's gonna be mad, but and then they found her number and started calling her and saying the fatties just found her number and started harassing my mom. But I said I was thankful for it that my mom did that because I was in better shape because of it.
Right.
I was more, I think fat shaming can be good, can motivate you.
Sure.
So.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a line.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But, and so I don't think she's really appreciated that. That's why I get kind of iffy talking about her even on this. Cause I don't want people to go and harass her because it just annoys her.
Well, obviously I mean, look at you and all your siblings. Your parents obviously did a great job, and they're good people. And like all parents, they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's part of the human condition. I mean, it's one of the things that I try to help my clients understand, that yes, your parents fucked you up. And you will fuck up your kids.
Oh, yeah.
And they will fuck up their kids. Yeah. And there's no escape from that.
Yeah, I know.
And your karma, or however you want to think about it here on earth, is to work that out for yourself and let go of whatever, anger, resentment, or idealization.
Yeah.
Because people idealize their parents. They don't actually want to face that they got really hurt by them because they feel like that's disrespectful. But it's just your feelings.
Yeah.
And then to kind of forgive it all, realize this is what life is, and move on. I mean, it's just, and also that our gifts come from it.
Yeah.
Our deepest gifts come from the places where we got wounding. So for whatever reason, this is how it works. Yeah.
So my deepest gifts come from wounding. Why do I like to talk? I love talking.
Well, I said earlier, there's a way in which I think you talk to connect, that you actually have a deep desire to connect. If I go past the personality self, right, and feel into this deepest part of you, I mean, I just see this super sweet little girl, right, who's got her arms wide open and is so fucking curious about the world and wants to share everything that she sees and learns with everybody. And you've got this big open heart, right? And then, life happens and you're like, people don't see it. They don't get it. You get hurt. They say little things. And then our heart starts to close down a little bit. And so maybe there was some subtle adaptation in how you communicated because you still want the connection, but it can't, there's something else that's protected.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Well, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I really think that I just did not. Some of the people, one guy made a video about me, and there was a guy I was a co-host with, and it said the truth about Pearl, and I literally thought it was a positive thing.
What did he say?
I don't know. It was so weird. It was the weirdest thing. It was he took footage from my birthday party, and he basically said I was taking footage of people to hold over their heads. And it was so weird because it was kind of what he was doing to me. I'm like, this is projection because I didn't. But the footage wasn't even bad. It was us sitting on a couch, like it wasn't even anything crazy.
But you were taking footage to what? What was the implication?
It was so weird. It was
to hold over them.
God, it was so weird. I didn't even understand it. It was like, it was basically like he thought that because I wasn't drinking at a party, so I'm not a big drinker, and that people were taking footage that we were trying to get them drunk and hang it over their heads.
Oh.
Nobody was. That was exactly my face. I was like, what?
Why?
Yeah. And it was just, he just wanted clicks or whatever. Yeah. It was just weird. And then he was saying I give like slave contracts, colonize. It was the weirdest thing.
Why is colonizer bad? I want to reclaim that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I colonized, motherfucker.
I don't know.
That's right.
It was just like strange, but I guess. But so like stuff like that it was kind of a rude awakening because I feel like I had a pretty sheltered like upbringing. And then it was like, I just never saw stuff like that like coming.
People coming at you with long YouTube videos, deconstructing your personality and projecting all kinds of things onto you.
It's crazy. I didn't really care about that because it's funny. My family will watch some of them and they're like, that's not even right.
Right.
So it's like when people are, doing that, or it's like some crazy feminist, I don't care. But it's like, when it's people I know, I'm kind of like, oh, like, why would you, like, you could have just called me.
Meaning they're writing about people that you know in relationship to you and
no, more like when it's people I know that are like denouncing me or like whatever. I'm like, I just saw you the other day.
Wow.
It's really weird. It's so weird. It was like the weirdest. When I had Nick Fuentes on, that was like a turning point because I knew it was controversial, but I didn't know how like triggering he was to everybody. And it was even like I would go on these shows and I would kind of go on in good faith, like, and it would be like, why did you bring on?
No, I saw that in Trigonometry. We talked about it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I was just like, and it was so weird because I'm like, aren't we all adults? Like, why are we? This is just a weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
But you had him back on. Nick. You had him on, and then you had him on. Didn't you just have him on recently, or were you talking to him?
That's old footage, but I will bring him back on because I just made a website and I want to tell everyone to go F themselves. So,
well, he's back and he's on Twitter, and everybody's wants to talk to him.
Yeah.
So it's all water under the bridge now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna do it this trip, but the timing just didn't work. So I think next time I'm in the U.S.,
you do want to talk to him.
Yeah, just mostly because all you people have told me not to talk to him. Yeah. Harassed me for a year, so I'm going to do it again.
Well, he's an interesting guy because he says outrageous things.
Yeah. Yeah, but then they'll make you like apologize for his, but like they'll like, God, it's just so weird. And that's like what I didn't understand when I got into media. I'm like, everyone is so, not everyone, because I've met more nice people that are like kind and considerate than I haven't. But yeah, everyone's just like, there's just, some people act just like weird.
Yeah, it's catty. Well, I guess you see a lot of I don't know, people are immature or they can't handle what's the attention that they're getting. They don't know how to navigate that, and all their stuff comes up and they just end up acting crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like high school all over again.
I don't think anyone ever leaves high school. I think it's the same.
That's what politics looks like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that enough?
I don't know. Your therapy.
You want more? Well, how did it feel when I don't know, sort of what I said when I felt into you?
It's fun.
It was fun?
Yeah.
Did it feel, was there something true? Did it feel true on some level?
Yeah, I guess.
What, I was driving over here and thinking about, what are we going to talk about? And usually, the best is just to wing it, but thoughts come into my mind, so I trust it. It's like there's something about like love that I want to talk to you about. Like what? I mean, that's a big question. It's a big word. It means a lot of different things. But what is, like, I don't know. What do you love?
I was thinking I love telling the truth.
Why?
Because
feels good.
Yeah, it's like you grow up when you're a millennial, you've grown up with so much bullshit. It's like you grow up, the war in Iraq was a lie. They reported on that wrong. You grow up, your history books were a lie. You grow like it is so frustrating. Like the health pyramid, the health triangle, that was a lie.
Yeah.
And it's like you grow up and everything is a lie. Like everything. You work so hard to be smart in school just to realize they're not even they're misrepresenting history.
So it's not only you've been betrayed in not just by different people in your life, but by the whole fucking culture. Essentially, everything was a lie. It's a betrayal.
I went to college for 4 years.
Yeah,
and it's what do they feed? Bullshit. It's you know, and that's so frustrating. That when I started to figure out, what was true, like, even, all these abusive men, right? Everyone's got abusive this, abusive that. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't even true.
Right.
So that's why, because I think it's like when I hear someone that's like honest, I like it.
Right.
Or even if they're wrong, if they're at least like saying what they believe and why they believe it, then I'm like, oh, it's awesome.
Do you like beautiful things? You have some money now.
Not anymore. I've been demonetized. I used to.
Do you like to buy? Like, I guess I'm curious about the feminine part of you.
No, I'm not really a big spend. You know what? I buy things in a stupid way. So like I buy things because I forget something or I don't plan, or like my biggest expenses. But I've never bought like a designer. I have a designer purse now, but my assistant got it for me. It was really nice. It was like the nicest thing.
But do you like pretty things, beautiful things? Do you decorate? Do you feminize colors?
I guess. I like turquoise.
You get your nails done?
Not really.
Toenails?
I should.
You should, but you don't. Well, you're an athlete, I guess. It's a little different.
I like music. That's in terms of like creativity or art. I like music. That's maybe not really a painter. I've gotten a little.
What lights up your, the inspiration, like separate from the culture, separate from that, okay, music, right? But like it ignites your heart.
I've always been interested in 3 things: media / politics, music, and sports. Those are the 3 things that
sports can be beautiful.
Yeah, but I like playing. I don't like watching. So.
Right. Well, yeah. No, it's fun to play.
So that's like pretty much. So I think it's like living the dream because I just get to be curious for a living. I can do this when I want. I can work out in the morning, and then I can incorporate music and do it.
And you have a boyfriend that you like, and you're excited about. What's Pearl like when she's excited? When you're in love, or you girly?
I don't want to.
Are you girly?
Yeah, I guess. No.
Well, how is that for you to be girly? To surrender to a man?
It's good. It's like new, so I don't really like to like talk about it too much, but I don't know. He's great. I really like him.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about the relationship. It's just more how you exist in that space, Like you're just a regular girl in that place. Yeah. Yeah.
A ball of fun.
You're a ball of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. There's more.
I don't know.
You don't know?
You'd have to ask him.
Do you meditate?
I should. I think it would be good for me, but no.
You don't. Do you do anything that gets you out of your head? I mean, I guess volleyball.
No, I probably should.
Yeah.
I've heard that would be like good for me.
Well, because there's a realm of reality that's the kind of the story, the narrative, like our mind, how we interpret, and
sometimes I cook. That does.
Yeah. That pulls you into
Yeah, like I like
that flow state.
Yeah. I would say that's probably the most, because I really didn't know how to cook too well till like the last like 2-3 years. I learned because I was always an athlete, so I just didn't have time. And yeah, it's very freeing when you start to get. I'm not gonna say I'm great, but like decent at it. I don't know, and you just kind of can like turn off your brain, not think. So,
do you have any questions for me, like in relationship to you? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, is there anything you're curious about that you think I might be able to answer? It may not be, but just.
I'm curious what family patterns you see in your practice. It's not really, I guess, about me, but I'm more curious what patterns in families do you typically see? Are there like 3, 5?
Well, there's,
Are the
I mean,
most common?
I mean, it fractals out an infinite kind of
Yeah.
configurations, but the one that I see most now, and I've alluded to it, is the dominating mother and the weak father,
Yeah.
or the absent father.
Yeah.
And so what you have is, with men, the way that it affects men, the way it affected me, because that was my dynamic, was I have to take care of my mother, right? I'm the little man for my mother. And there's not safety in the household, because if there's no man in the house, there's no safety. A woman, children know like a dog. Like dogs, a strong woman can train a tough dog, but they don't respect women the way they respect men. And so it's the same in a household with children. So there's a certain kind of safety that when a boy doesn't have, it's devastating. And so they align themselves or orient towards the woman. And so that's what you see out in the culture, like all these, simps. And without the father there to sort of mitigate against the female tendency to protect and nurture, it becomes devouring. And a boy or a girl devoured by her mother is not a good thing. And it's very hard to call out women on that. And when they're in that state, you have to have a strong man that she respects to kind of sever that connection. I mean, this, I get it. Listen, a baby comes out of their fucking body. So at that point, all mothers, they're a little fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the father there saying, okay, we have to let go. You have to start letting this baby individuate and not have your identity wrapped up in the child, because that creates narcissism. And that's what you see. It's an epidemic everywhere. So from my perspective, yes, women need to take responsibility. But I'm also trying to teach men. It's like, no, you got to fucking claim your authority in relationship to your fucking wife. You have to stand her down, right? Because you know things that she doesn't know. And if you're not there to balance it out, the kids are going to get fucked up.
No, I agree with that. But I think that it's tough because I think men have to be willing to divorce their wives.
Sure.
But most men want to do what's best for the kids. And I think most women feel that. That's what I see anyways.
Right. So that in that place they have leverage and they can take advantage. Yeah.
That's
Well, I think it's perfect because you're advocating for more self-responsibility for women, and I'm advocating for more self-responsibility for men. And I think we respect each other's positions. So it's great. It's perfect. Okay.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Pearl.
Thanks for having me.